Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping at my channel. I'm glad to see you. I've had to do this video over, and one of the reasons that it was not properly feeding as it should. So here we are. This is for Geminis for the month of May as well as June, any time after the 20th of May. This is for early degree Geminis and going on into later degree Geminis too. It's just for the entire month of May and June, as I'm only posting one video for Geminis. In your first house, you've got the Sun, a Mercury conjunction, and something that I don't usually do, but I have put a trans-Neptunian planet in this first house. And the reason being is that it's in 1 degree of Gemini, sitting right on top of Gemini's Sun and conjuncting with your Mercury and your Sun. And Amidas is a trans-Neptunian, which I've noticed that these planets are beginning to impact our lives quite a bit. Some astrologers do not use them, but I'm finding that they should be put into the chart in some incidents. Amidas will give you a lot of heart palpitations, eye problems, as well as brain fog, especially sitting here with Mercury. So if you've had experience where you've been saying, oh, I wonder what did I do with that, or where did I put that? That's what it's about. So be very mindful of that. It's not to frighten you. It's not to say you got to go to the doctor or anything is going wrong. Just, if you have issues like that, just make sure you take care of them. And besides that, you're going to have a lot of fun this year with a lot of young people, a lot of extended family members, probably some get-togethers or some even family reunions, going to the parks and having just a good time and a lot of laughs and a lot of talks, a lot of people out talking to each other with a lot of Geminis around you or just talking people. In the second house, we have Mars in the sign of Cancer in that house. And Mars in the sign of Cancer in that house has a lot to do with unexpected expenditures as far as dealing with family and family members. Also, you could have some money that you got to spend out as far as the home conditions having to do with some water problems. So if you see leaking faucets, running water anywhere in the home, just make sure that you take care of. Make sure that you watch the garden hoses when you're watering your grass, because you could put too much out there and cost you a lot of money. And the reason being is that Neptune and the dark moon Lilith is in the 10th house. There's nothing in the 4th house, but by reflection, they're having influence in that 4th house. And it could be just water coming into the neighborhood. As you know, we've had water all over this country. So if you see water coming, get your stuff out and get away, because it could be, quite devastating. Coming to the 5th house, I have put a trans-Neptunian planet in there. Let me check my notes here. Zeus, which is expanding and good luck. As well as I put an asteroid in there, Athena, Pallas Athenas. And both of these planets are in the house of excitement, fun, games of chance. If you want to go to the boat, racetracks, this is a good time to do it, because you'll have a lot of fun and you might make a nice little piece of change. It depends on what you put into it. Moving to the 7th house, we have Jupiter in that house. And Jupiter is retrograde, which means that it's not expressing itself as it should. And on the 17th of June, you're going to have a full moon in that house. And it's going to come right across the 7th and the 1st house. And that in itself is a separating aspect. So if you're in a relationship that you were thinking about getting married to, it might be breaking up. But if it is, try to just let it go, because there is a good chance when Jupiter goes direct, the relationship might correct itself and might get back on track. But, try not to worry yourself too much about it, because if it goes, it was meant to go. It came, it did what it was supposed to be, now it's going to leave. Coming to the 8th house, we got a packed house there, and that's the house of debt. and other people's resources. And we also have the moon in that house. And the moon is demanding that you make a change up here. Pluto says you need to transform. And what makes it so powerful in this house is that we got Pluto, we got the South Node, which has the nature Mars, and this house is the house of other people's resources as well. The 8th house is the house of other people's money, whereas the 2nd house is the house of your money. Now, this is a house of debt. And many of you will be thinking about going bankrupt to get rid of some of this debt, because it is going to be, well, let's just say I thought of, when I looked at this house, I thought of the great writer, Liz Green. And she wrote a book called, it was on Saturn, one of the better books that I have read about Saturn. And she called it A New Look at an Old Devil. So you got 2 planets up here will give you hell. And Saturn is depositing all these planets. So Saturn is the most powerful planet up here. It is even taking deposit the moon. So you got to take care of this. Regardless of what you have to do to finish it up and clear it up, you will have to do that. Because this is where they will garnish you your check, put liens on your bank account. All kind of things can happen. So make some arrangements to clear some of this up, because it's very powerful. And when the planets are retrograde, they're digging in, getting collection agencies on you. Anything to collect these debts. So not to frighten you, but just to alert you that it must be taken care of. Coming to the 10th house, so I'm only talking about the planets where you have, I'm only talking about the houses where you have planets in them that have influences with you. In the 10th house, we got Neptune and the dark moon Lilith, which means that it's reflecting into the 4th house because there are no planets there. So you can take a reading in that house. That's the reason I was saying that you would have water problems there. But Neptune up in the 10th house also tells me that you're tired of the career that you're with. You're not very satisfied with it, and you want to change. And you can do that at this time. So change, you might even get an opportunity to go in business for yourself, but you might have been thinking about that. So this is a good time to do it. As a matter of fact, some of your companies might even be changing, going out of business. So you could leave with a little money too. Coming to the 12th house, we got Uranus in Taurus, and we got Venus in Taurus. And Venus is very powerful in this house. She's exalted here, which means she has standing. And not only that, Venus is in her own sign. Plus, Venus is very secretive. And there's been some secret stuff going on here behind your back, or you've been participating in it, whatever. But you know what you've been doing, don't you? So try to straighten it out, because you might be embarrassed when Venus comes into the 1st house, into the sign of Gemini. Because Gemini will be doing talk, 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 gossip, gossip, gossip. So make sure you take care of that. Let me say a little bit more here about Mars in Cancer. I'm very suspicious of this planet. And the reason I'm so suspicious of her, of him or her, is because Mars is going to catch up to Pluto, it's going to catch up to Saturn, and it's going to catch up to the South Node. And this is a very, very violent aspect coming. So make sure you know where you're going to be this summer and who you're going to be with. And wherever you are out, know how to get out. So be mindful of that. So until next time, I want you guys to have a good summer and enjoy all those laughs that Gemini is going to have. And until next time.